ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for the GeekBuddy award show and end of the year award show, in which we're going to try our best to give you the top 5 of all the content that we try to give you on a day-to-day basis. Jimmy Bebe, as always, of course, and I am joined by Cami to the right of me. How are you doing today, Cami? I much appreciate you joining me today.
Yes, like always, I'm always great. Everything is awesome.
That's fantastic. This award show isn't your typical award show, so it kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that we don't have everything going, every bit of information that we need, I guess. It's our first one, and seeing as how TV shows and animes, there's just so much. We found it to be kind of impossible to narrow it down to a situation in which we could allow the fans to vote. So what we did is pick our own personal top 5 of the year in each individual category. We have people, obviously I don't watch anime, so I'm not going to give a top 5 anime list. That would be horrible. But we have people who do, and that's what they will be touching on. I will be touching on the things that I know. Kim will be touching on the things that she knows, so on and so forth. You're more than welcome. We appreciate it if you go ahead and comment your top 5s in whatever category you feel the need to do so. If you want to give us a top 5 in every category, even better. Just fill the comments up with it, and we'll see, I guess, how close we were to being correct in our choices. Again, with movies being like the most, the biggest pool of things possible out of the 4 categories that we typically touch on, we've broken them down into 3 different categories because that's the ones that we know best. Hopefully next year we'll have more people joining us. Life won't be in the way, and we'll be able to touch on more categories for you. But this year, this is what we got. We're going to touch on our top 5 movies of the year, our top 5 Indian movies, our top 5 horror movies. Thank you. Our top 5 TV shows, animes, cap it all off. So with that, we're just going to jump right into it. My top 5 movies of the year, in which I can give you a better breakdown because I'm here for it. Number 5, I'm putting Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers because I love nostalgia. If you don't love nostalgia, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's so good. It's fantastic. And when you're able to take something from our childhood and put it onto the screen for us, and you do it in such a masterful way that I want to watch it immediately after, you've done your job. I would dare say it's the best animated movie I've seen in years. It was just that good. It is a fun movie. Story is just basic. Cameos that are involved, I was very surprised with some of them. I don't want to give spoilers away, but I will say this one, I don't care. The original version of the Sonic the Hedgehog, in which we all got mad about and signed a petition so that they change it, he makes a cameo in this movie, and it fits perfectly, and it helps tell the story they're trying to tell. And again, the cartoons living within the real world, and it's so well done. When I originally saw it, I was like, this might be the best movie of the year. But unfortunately, then I saw a bunch of other things, and I was like, okay, well, this is just a really good movie, year for movies. It does make the top 5, though. It was that good. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you. Number 4, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Beautiful movie. It's beautiful. As maybe you've seen me state before, I love things where the story pulls me in and I'm just there for the ride. I feel like I'm part of the story being told. I'm there and I'm seeing it in person. And I don't think, I won't say that. This is this movie did the second best job of that this year. I'm not ashamed to admit there was probably 4 times in this movie where I was crying because it was so beautifully done. The visuals, beautiful. It's just beautiful. And then the story, I put this above the original Black Panther. That's how well I thought the movie was. I gave the review on it. It's on the GeekBuddy YouTube channel. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out. Which I break down exactly why I love this movie so much. It was so well done. The best character, the best origin story for a superhero we've seen on film, in my opinion, was Shuri. It was done. It was beautiful. Great movie. At number 3 is RRR. This was my first Indian movie I've ever watched. I'm not even sure how the recommendation came about, but I am so glad that the man behind GeekBuddy was able to tell me, hey, check out RRR. And I was like, what? I don't know if I had a funner time watching the movie because there was action that was just blowing my mind. The cinematography and visuals are just absolutely they're more beautiful than Black Panther, if you can believe that. There was dance numbers, which I'm always gonna be excited for dance numbers. The choreography in the dance number was love story, everything. It has everything in one movie. It's like a 3-hour movie that felt like it was like an hour and a half because of how just fast it moved along. It was really well done, and if you've never watched an Indian movie, I highly suggest you watch this one, and then you will be just fully invested and want to watch more. I guarantee it. I rank it that high. Number 2, Barbarian. Unfortunately, it's the only horror movie that made my list, but it was so good. So good, and so much so that we look at actors and we're like, this is his shtick. Justin Long is in Barbarian. And I am now of the thought that he is the best horror actor there is, hands down. Because every time he does something, it's so interesting that I'm just like, I'm glued. I had no idea where this movie was going. No clue. Because every time they lead you in a way, and you're like, I see where this is going. And then they say, nope. And they go this way, and you're like, what just happened? What just happened? And they do it multiple times. They don't just do it with the story. They do it with the scenes, the shooting. We're used to jump scares. I'm seeing a jump scare coming, but then it doesn't happen. So what you've done is you've just really raised my blood level. And I'm like, oh, where's it coming? That doesn't come. And then when it does finally come, you don't expect it. It's just so the best shot horror movie done this year, hands down. Like, it's not even close. It was just that well done. It was an original story. It wasn't a remake or anything like that. Just so well done. And then number 1, you probably would have guessed it when I was doing Nick's list, Clerks 3, because there has never been a more beautiful ending to any kind of cinematic universe ever. Ever, never, never, ever. There's never been a better one. I'm attached to it because I've been part of this universe for over 20 years, so maybe I'm a little biased. I've watched it multiple times, and each time it affects me the exact same way. It has honestly changed my perspective on life to an extent. It's the most touching movie I've ever watched. And again, it's an ending. And usually when you get endings of things, it's hard to please people because they have really high expectations. And he took those expectations and just shattered them. Like, it was like, I would have never thought that the ending was going to be this good. So much so that I may never get my Mallrats 2 movie, which I've been waiting for years. And I'm completely okay with it because of how this movie ended. Is, again, watching it hurts my feelings because of how great it is and how invested I am, but I'm willing to torture myself every time just to watch it because it's that well done. So that's my top 5 in the year. Again, Chippendales, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, RRR, Barbarian, and Clerks 3. That's a lot of different stuff for you. I didn't stick with a whole shtick. I went everywhere with it, so I feel good about it. And I think that's all we have for the movies this go around. And if so, we'll move on to the Indian movies, in which, Cami, the show is yours.
Okay, so for my first movie, I picked Vikram. I didn't even watch the trailer. I was just taken to the movie theater. Like, let's watch. I was like, okay. And it was morning. I wake up early to watch this movie. Zero expectation. I was actually pissed off because I had to wake up early to watch the movie. And then I reach, and it is, I think, the only movie I would say it is worth it waking up so early to watch. It was so good from start till end. Like, I also don't know how to explain without giving any spoilers, but this movie just kind of blew my mind because the story starts and then it is telling one story. Then in between, whatever you thought you knew, it is not true. It is something else. And then you are like, how did this happen? How did I miss this? How they pulled it off so amazing. And then you just continue watching it. You're just on the edge of your seat. And then you think, I know this person will be there. This will happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. It just goes somewhere else. And the ending and everything is just amazing. Like, I have never, well, in reality, Indian movies are like nothing I have ever watched. I grew up watching only US movies, like most of the people.
Yeah.
Now I know about Indian movies, like, why I missed this? Why didn't I know this existed all my life? So, my number one, I will start from the top. I will not go from down, I will start from the
That's
top.
fine.
Like, Vikram is just deserves the spotlight because it was so well made, and the acting, everything is just, there's everything in that movie. Amazing music, the story, the action, everything is just
Yeah.
amazing. Then on my number two, I put RRR. Same like Jimmy. I you already explained most of the thing. It is beautiful. It is a beautiful movie to watch. Especially I was blessed to watch in a movie theater.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
The experience, the music, the crowd, it is just amazing, and it is the type of movie that you want to rewatch and rewatch for one single scene. I will not say which scene because I don't know who has watched the movie, but just because of a single scene you want to rewatch all the time.
And I'll just add in there real quick. The dance number that they do is the best dance number I've ever seen in a movie. It is hands down the best dance number I've ever seen.
Yes, the speed that they do, the coordination, the song, everything is just like, I want to dance to this. Yes. Yes, it is a type. Still, I listen to that song. This Nacho Nacho in Hindi. I still listen because it will just stay there, and you'll be like, Nacho Nacho Nacho. Amazing movie. It deserves to be on the top of complete movies worldwide. Then my third is Cantara. Cantara, I had already said in the channel I watched it twice. Till I watched it on the second time, I completely understood the depth that this movie had. The story is this much rich.
Yeah.
That when you watch the second time, there are many things that you missed. So, also it is very different story. It is very beautiful. Narrated, it is in a very remote village. But like these Indian movies, they're very long, but you will not feel. You will just be sitting there. You will not move. You will not drink water. You will just watch. Your eyes will be glued to the screen. Cantara was just beautiful. The makeup, the acting, the director is the same actor. Amazing job. Just amazing movie. For those who haven't watched, please watch. It is very good. You should watch. Jimmy, you should watch.
It's high on the list. It definitely is high on the list.
Very good movie. Then my fourth, obviously, honestly, I cannot put this in a specific order. It is not that one is on top of the other, because the movies are so good that I cannot say no. Definitely, this is number one. This is number two.
Yeah.
So I do want to make clear that it is not like completely like, no, it has to be number four. I'll mention that because also KGF was very good. A very good movie. And I'm just excited because they are building this universe of also KGF. Now this Salar is coming. Then they hinted this KGF 3. Then it is such a good movie. It is just, you have to watch. If you haven't watched, you have to watch.
The main character is very entertaining. Because this is the one I have started watching, and the main character is very entertaining.
Yes, Rocky character is very good. His story will capture you. The mom will make you teary, cry, feel emotions that you didn't know you had inside of you. It is a very good movie. Every single movie that I have mentioned is very good. But yes, KGF is also a masterpiece. Uh, what can I say? The ending, it is very emotional. The ending will just have you there, but it also makes sense with the journey of the main character. And they closed it very good. That is something many movies fail to do, to close the story properly.
Yeah.
And this is something KGF 2 did wonderful. And then my fifth is Gangubai. This is my actually my only movie that I chose from Bollywood. This movie I didn't watch in movie theater or anything. I just saw it was on Netflix and saw that like people were crazy behind it, imitating it on Instagram, dances and all. And I was like, I'll give it a
Yeah.
try. It was a movie I didn't have any high expectations. But then when you will watch the movie, it is, well, I don't know if you have seen the trailer yet,
I
but
haven't.
the movie, it is the story about a prostitute, a girl that was sold. Basically, they lied to her, she got sold, and she became a prostitute. But she was able to change and fight for the rights of the prostitutes.
Okay.
So it is a very deep movie, very serious movie. Also, the music is very good. The dancing, the acting of Alia, very good. Amazing acting. Like she will transmit, because the character is very serious. So when you will see her, normal pictures, you will think she cannot pull off this type of role. Because it is a prostitute. She looks very young. She had like very kind of innocent face. So how she will pull off such a serious role? But she managed it very well. She managed it beautifully. Uh, it was just a very great story that will make you cry. That will make you also feel very emotional. Give you another perspective on prostitutes, the tough life they have. I didn't know how it was in here in India till I watched this movie, and it is like an eye opener for stories that have happened, and you don't know how much these people struggle. And something I like a lot here is that it is they have many stories based on real people. So this Gangubai is based on a real person. It is
Okay.
not a fake story. It is based on a real person. So to be able to transmit that and show you how one person was able to make such a change for people that are often forgotten by society, it was very good. Like I said, every movie I don't have any specific order. Every movie is 100% worth watching. And I think I could even make a top 10, top 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could, but we'd be here all day.
Yeah, so
That's the
I'll
problem
just,
with movies is there's just so many of them, and to stand out is hard.
yes.
What was the fifth one you said? It was
Gangubai.
okay. Okay. It sounds like
So,
a story, and it's story like heavy story. So I really
yes.
enjoy those kind of movies. So I might check that one out.
Yes, it
All right.
is very good. So basically, the movies I said are Vikram, RR, KGF, Kantara, and Gangubai. No specific order. Keep that in
1 through
mind.
5, put them wherever you want.
Where you wish.
And before we move on to the horror movies, I just want to point out, there's movies that I have not watched that I feel like could make my lists, especially horror movies, because unfortunately I've just been watching a lot of old ones. That's just what I do. But I want to give them shout outs because I know I'm going to enjoy these movies. So before we go, I want to make sure we get them out there. The Black Phone, Bullet Train, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Nope, Smile, which I'm definitely watching like very, very soon. X, Pearl, which I didn't even hear about until like I think a week and a half ago. But now I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to check this out. It looks very, very, very good. Violent Night, which just came out, so I literally haven't had time to watch that one. And then Bodies, which I tried to one night, and then life happens and I didn't get to watch it. So I'm very excited to watch it. I think all of those movies could have probably made my list because of how well they've been touted, and I just want to give them shout outs so that people understand I'm not I do know there are great movies out there. I just haven't watched them. It's impossible to watch all the movies, but I will watch those eventually, and they were very good. And also, I want to say the biggest disappointment of 2022, in my opinion, was Scream 5. Because to me, the Scream franchise might be the most consistently good franchise in horror. So it's one or two, and it just wasn't that good. But they're doing Scream 6. Hopefully that'll redeem it, and then so on and so forth. But with that, that's a great transition into our next category, which is horror movies itself. I didn't make a horror movies list, but I can just literally piggyback off of your lists and go from there. Because again, I like horror movies. I've just been watching too many old ones. So
okay. So in the list, now again I'll go backwards, like the order you were following. Okay, so my fifth is actually Smile. Yes, Smile. I like Smile. It is very different kind of concept that they pull off. Usually in horror, the thing is that you see things are very just repeating.
Yeah.
I remember this from this movie, this from this movie. So the scary part is not effective any longer. And you want to watch horror because you want to get scared or feel something like So I like Smile. It is very different concept. They were able to pull it off. I would say they pull it off good. I'll not say it is the best movie, but it is good. It is worth watching. It is. So you might have to try not to give any spoilers. But yeah, the ending also it is unexpected, which is not common in horror.
Yeah.
Horror tends to be very similar to each other, the movies. So yes, Smile was able to pull something off that usually many movies are not able, and is to be different.
Yeah. And as I always state, different is good. It's the best thing you can do with entertainment. If it's different, that means I've never seen it, so you've introduced me something. So that intrigues me even more to want to watch it. So
yes. So then my number 4, it is Hellraiser. I don't know if you watched it.
I am not a fan of the Hellraiser franchise, but I've been told that this one might change my mind. So I guess because of my disdain for the previous movies, it's just not high on my list, but it is something I'll eventually get around to.
Yes, well, I would say these movies that I'm mentioning, the most important thing is to watch them on movie theater. Because when you watch at home, you lose a bit the experience with the big screen, the speakers, the sound. It is huge part in horror. Because it gives you the jump scares, the feeling, the vibrations. It is something that does affect the experience. But I would say Hellraiser was very good. I'm saying that with every movie, but it is top 5, so they have to be very good. So Hellraiser, yes, it managed to pull off the story very well. Introduced characters. You'll feel empathy for some. Some will be like, yes, he deserved that.
Yeah.
So it is worth watching. I also love horror. I try to watch as many as I can around the year. So I would say yes, Hellraiser was a pretty good movie. I didn't have much expectations, mainly because they changed the main character. So I know people when they saw the trailer, they were like, I don't know about this. It seems the main character is iconic. Pinhead is very iconic.
Yeah.
So, but it was worth it. It was a good change. It wasn't bad. It was a very good change, and the story is well made.
Okay.
That's all I would say without spoilers. Then my third is Barbarian, like you mentioned. I actually watched because you recommended Barbarian. It was very good. You already gave a lot of insight, but something about this movie is that again it pulls off something very few movies is able to, and it's make you feel bad, feel empathy towards the bad
Yeah.
character.
When you feel for the
Usually you
villain
haven't.
in any movie, it's perfection.
Yes, you'll understand the story and then you'll feel bad, and at some point you're like, I know something should happen to this, but then you're like, no,
Yeah.
I feel bad because the story is so well made that you will understand everyone's point of view, and you will be able to get in everyone's shoes. You will hate some characters, you will feel bad for them. Some you will feel like, why are you doing this? Run.
Yeah.
So it is worth watching, and that's why I put it on my top, because it was able to, like we said, it is different movie. It is a different type of movie. It will mix up your emotions. It is not your typical horror movies that you will just be scared throughout the movie. It will make you feel.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
Yes. And then my number 2 is Terrifier 2. Yes, Terrifier 2, I know many people they stay away from Terrifier because of the gore part, because it's very gory.
Yeah.
But I will say it was so good. Such a good movie. I'm usually not a fan of gory. I like more paranormal. That is my type of horror. That's what I enjoy. But Terrifier, again, it had a different story. The story was well made. It is not just your normal horror gory movie that just randomly goes kill people.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, kill. No. It also has a bit of backstory. It will make you cheer for the main character, because that's something about horror movies. Many times you'll get pissed off at the main character because you're just like, run, do something.
What are you doing?
Yes, like move. Like it doesn't have any common sense. But then with this main character, you'll be cheering for her. It is a girl. For her, you'll be, yes, you want her to succeed. So yes, that is why I put it on my 2. It is good movie. Gory, I tell you, if you don't like gory movies, then avoid. But still give it a chance if you have the stomach for that. It is not too gory. It is, I would say, less gory than Saw. So you can give it a shot. Very well written movie. And then my number 1, it is Black Phone. Black Phone. When I started watching the movie, I was like, how this is going to scare me. I want that in a horror movie. I get scared. That's why you watch horror.
Yeah, that's
Then instead of feeling I don't know, like scared, I felt very emotional with this movie. Very connected to the movie because it has paranormal part. It has a bit of violence too. But you will just feel very connected to the characters, those who suffer and everything. You'll just get very connected, and I never had that with a horror movie, that I was able to connect with all the characters in the movie.
interesting.
It is very different, very, like, I would expect a normal type of movie that they just abduct people, but it is not your normal type of movie. You would just think, okay, he'll get abducted and then he'll go out or he'll die. One or the two. But then in between, something starts developing, and then in the end you will understand and you'll feel sad. It is the type of movie that gives a very satisfying ending, but you will also feel a bit of sadness for whatever happened before, which is also very hard to achieve nowadays with horror.
Yeah. I was very interested where we were going to go with after Barbarian 3. I was like, what could you possibly put above those? But I have not seen either one of those, so I can't argue. And the reason I don't have a horror list is because, again, I watch most of what we watch is horror movies, and I don't know when they come out. We just kind of see them and think, oh, that's a good one, let's watch that one. But so we already know Barbarian would be number one if I had one. I'll just do a second one and then I'll be done, because I don't want to try and rack my head around which ones came out this year. And I know this is going to be controversial to a lot of people, but Halloween Ends is the number 2 horror movie in my opinion on the year, because as I've stated earlier, different is better, and it doesn't get any different than what Halloween Ends gave us for the Halloween franchise. It told the best story that any Halloween movie has ever done. They literally focus on stabby all the time. Halloween Ends did not do that. It was so well done. And if you think I'm crazy, I highly suggest you just go back and watch it again and just pay attention to the story they're telling, because it makes so much sense. And it was literally a conclusion is Halloween Ends, but did it really? You don't know. That's how a horror movie should end. It should always end open-ended, because how is he going to come back this time? I don't think Michael comes back. If you've seen it, you know why. But that doesn't mean the franchise is ended, and that's all I'll stay on it. The story, that's what made Halloween End so much better. Not the killing, which is, again, what people look for in these movies. The story. And I just wanted to get that in there. But from there, we'll move on to TV shows. You are going to really see how much of a nerd I am with these shows. But I promise you, I picked them not because I'm a nerd, but because the stories involved and how the season played out was just... Because a lot of shows these days have filler episodes. And there was a lot of good TV shows this year that I couldn't put in here because, oh, you gave me filler episodes. Don't ever do that. Don't do filler. Give me a story throughout the whole thing. If it takes you 4 episodes, give me 4 episodes. If it takes 10, give me 10. Don't give me 6 when you need 3. But I'll start off at number 5, Stranger Things season 4, because it might be hands down. No, it's the second best TV show on from start to finish right now, hands down, with multiple seasons. This season, I was wondering, how can you give me anything different? The Demogorgon thing is played out. What are you going to give me? And they gave me something different. And they gave me a story as to how it did it. And they went full circle with it, which I am a huge fan of when you can do full circle things that make sense. They went back all the way to season 1 or even prior to season 1 with their story. The gang isn't together. They're all doing their own thing, but what they're doing all plays into the one goal that they're trying to achieve. It was done great. What I think Stranger Things does better than any other TV show is they continue to introduce new characters that don't feel forced and don't seem out of place. They gave us 2 new characters this year, and they both were just great. Like, absolutely great, and I love them. So Stranger Things is at number 5. And number 4, Moon Knight, because I love superhero stuff, and different. I like different. Moon Knight is the most different comic TV show I've ever watched. I know very little about Moon Knight. I just know he has the personality, he splits between personalities. And the way they did it with the show was done how you saw the one guy kind of, the one version of himself kind of grow into the character was done great. The visuals were amazing. The story, it wasn't the best story, but it was serviceable enough to go with the rest of the show that made it good enough to make the top 5. Number 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi, because this show made me change my favorite character in the Star Wars universe. It was that well done. Everyone talks about Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, and they were so happy about it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, Baby Leia was just as good, if not better, than Baby Yoda was. She was awesome. Watched this one with my girlfriend, who is not even a big Star Wars person. At the time, we watched this, and it was immediately, let's watch the movies. So we've been doing that since. It was that good that it made her say, okay, let's watch them. So, Ian McGregor is fantastic, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you disagree with me, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the best character in Star Wars, I challenge you. I challenge you one right now. You can get in the comments, you can go in the I don't care. I'll change your mind, I promise you. Number 2, which I went back and forth on my 1 and 2 so much because these two were just both so awesome. But number 2, Boys season 3, because The Boys, in my opinion, I said Stranger Things was one of the top 2. Boys is the one. It is the best show on TV. That's the end of the discussion. It is exactly what I look for in things, because it's just crazy nonsense that shouldn't work, but it does. The characters are all interesting. Frenchie, best person on the show. Again, argue with me if you want, you will lose. You feel for characters. You really hate characters. Like, it's very rare you see the villain and you like, yo, I hate that man. It's very rare. In The Boys, they've done it, because Homelander is the most vile bastard on the planet. Again, you'll lose that argument as well. I promise you. There's no other character I watch and I look at and say, I hate him. I really just want him to lose. I want him to die. I want him to just be done. And they continue to not do that. So it makes me hate him even more. And that's what you will look for in a bad guy. The Boys does it better than anybody. And then number 1 is Peacemaker, which almost didn't make the cut. I had to check on this one. It did come out in January, so it makes the cut. John Cena. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to look at John Cena and say, yo, that man can act. Watch The Peacemaker and watch that man go from comedy genius to just making you cry because you feel so bad for him. They took a character from Suicide Squad that you genuinely hated at the end of it, and they make you realize, oh, that's why he is the way he is. The story is so great. Again, they give you a villain that you absolutely hate, which, as I stated with the Boys, it's very hard to do. They did it to perfection. I immediately wanted to start watching the show as soon as it was over with, because it was that good. And the intro, if you haven't seen the intro, is the best intro to any TV show ever, with their dancing. I want to learn the dance. I haven't learned dance, but it's a great musical number. And it's one of those intros you never want to skip. From top to bottom, the show is to chef's kiss. It's perfection. So Stranger Things season 4, Moon Knight, Obi-Wan Kenobi, The Boys season 3, and then Peacemaker are the top 5 TV shows from this guy right here. There's nobody to dispute me on this because they didn't make lists, so that's just what you're going to have to take with it. And with that, we will move into the anime part of the show. Now we move on to our friend, our good buddy of the channel. His name's Tidy, in case you don't know. If you don't know, you need to go find out. Tidy is a wonderful human being and one of my favorite people I've met on the internet. He is absolutely awesome. At number 5, he has Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I guess you can find on Netflix. It's a blast. It does justice to the video game without having to nod to it, because it's its own story. And as someone who has beaten the game twice, he fell in love with their style of telling the sad song of Night City. He loves the story. It's there. It's sad and depressing as a cyberpunk story gets. A hero which is submerged into Night City seems like everyone you can't get away from the lifestyle, and you build your legend, which is a legend only built on death. Its gritty, cheering moments lead to more realistic, effed up moments that lead quickly to despair. It's a hell of a ride with a cybernetic addiction for power, which is control. If you loved Blade Runner, which a lot of people do, or the Cyberpunk game, anyone who hasn't will enjoy the show and clap at the end. I've had friends who don't watch anime speak highly of it as it's a piece of art. It is truly societal, futuristic human art that hits the feels emotionally and visually and must be witnessed by any fan of TV shows, movies, or anime. It is that good. Damn, he's selling it. He is selling it. At number 4, he has Bleach. At number 3, he has My Hero Academia. As lovable heroes that are done right, and it's just as good as Marvel. That is some big shoes to fill there, Tidy. Only thing that makes these heroes even better, like Batman, had villains to make it more interesting. My Hero Academia previous season set the scene with emotionally moving backstories and motivations of the villains being cool as shit. There's nothing better than a villain who has a reason, even a moral of how they live and fight, and even you question the bigger picture, yet can't help but like the villains, which we were talking about before. If you can get behind a villain, you can understand the villain, that makes for a great character. The show accomplished this with the setup of season 4 leading into the season of this year and its holy shit moments and the villain's coming moments. From there, we will go to number 2. Yeah, that was number 3. So number 2 is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is also found on Netflix. It is gory, gruesome, and bizarre. Oh crap moments, cool villains, and a feel of sweaty realism that is disgusting and yet invigorating. I'm loving the words he's using to describe these shows. It's really selling me on them. To rescue a father's soul while being imprisoned wrongly while battling a ridiculously built-up plot of the Immortal One for previous seasons made its way into this new generation of the JoJo bloodline flawlessly. How can you create upon many seasons and give past heroes of seasons a believable good spotlight? How does an evil villain Dio remain relevant since the beginning of the series, later still have a plan and basically resurrect oneself through a fanatic follower, still proves so damn intriguing? Will you add Jolin Kujo of the Joestar family, the hero, and she'll make her way through prison to uncover the bizarre plot while battling horror-style gore to keep you intrigued? And number 1, he has One Piece. I've heard of One Piece. I don't know much about it, but I have heard of this one. It is an amazing plot that keeps unfolding at 1,043 episodes. That is a lot. It means the audience keeps tuning in or there wouldn't be another season. Like, that's factual. That is a lot of episodes for a TV show. Like, I don't get anime, anything. That is a lot. Game of Thrones, in a sense of the writer keeps finding and letting characters evolve and take time to delve into the character difference. Difference is all it meshes together with the world, plot, and the journey to the One Piece. So you sold me on the Game of Thrones stuff because the character development in that show was brilliant. And now he talks about the character development. He said it is through the roof, top notch, lovable, funny, dramatic, realistic backstories, and the freedom of being a pirate to choose how you want to live in conjunction under their captain's vision, which is simple. He's going to be the king of the pirates. So that is his list. So again, he had Cyberpunk, where'd it go? Cyberpunk, Edge Runners, Bleach, My Hero Academia, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I think is a great name for anything, and One Piece as Tidy's top 5 animes on the year. Thank you, Tidy, for that. Very much appreciated that you wrote that up for us so that we could play it for everyone else out there that is craving some anime on this award show. Very much appreciated. And that concludes our lists for the awards on GeekBuddy for all the categories we have. Again, this one's kind of just feeling things out. We're all about give us the recommendations on how to fix things, categories you want to see on the next time we do this, things that we shouldn't do next year. Maybe top 3. I don't know. Just give us whatever you think will make it better. We'll take it into consideration. We'll see if it works. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this for your entertainment, and we want to provide you with the entertainment that we can. Feedback is always important. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me I'm stupid, I'm doing something wrong. I promise you. It doesn't happen. It just won't. I'll take it as long as it's constructive. If you send them call me names while you do it, it might hurt my feelings. Just don't add names and we'll listen to it. So with that, if you have anything else you'd like to add, Cami, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would just like to remind you guys that, as we said, it is just our personal opinion. It is not to offend anyone. There are also several things we haven't watched. There's just too much to cover. We all have different hobbies. So we are trying our best to keep you guys entertained and give you the best content we can. So remember, you can comment. Like always we said, give us feedback. Let us know your top 5, top 10 if you want, of whatever you like, you enjoy. We also will keep it in mind. What do you suggest us to watch, to play, we're always open to that. We're never, no, we don't like this. No.
Yeah.
Everyone in the team has different types of likes. I love horror. I love books. I like anime, but I like funny anime, comedy, romantic. So everyone has their own taste, but be sure that we do read the comments always. We keep them in mind. Your feedback is always very much appreciated. And please always remember to subscribe. Please like. Please share if you want to spread the love. What do we do? What do we do for you guys? Please just turn on the notifications.
The notification bell is very important.
In your YouTube. Just remember us. We always do this to entertain you guys. And you're welcome. This is also your channel. You're welcome to comment whatever you feel.
And that's a great segue for what I wanted to add to the comments. The award show, like I said, with so much at our fingertips, it's impossible for us to literally touch on every single thing. So don't look at this as our award show, look at it as everyone's award show. So if you want to participate, you literally just have to comment your top 5 of whatever it is you want to comment. Again, if you want to do all of them, go ahead, knock yourself out, be a part of the award show. Your voice be heard to the people who are coming and reading the comments as well. Like, oh, okay, they didn't have what I wanted. Then they see that Superhero 2022 JK said that these were his top 5 movies and you like those. And then there you go. Your movies or your TV shows, or your anime or your video games, any of the above, they were given a shout out. That's what the comments here are for on this particular award show, is so that everyone has their voice and they can give their opinions on what the top 5 on whatever category you want to touch on. So I said a lot there. I apologize. I hope you got the gist of what I was trying to say. Comment your own. There you go. And with that, I think this is where we wave and where we say goodbye. And thank you for tuning in. So thank you.